Hi, everyone. So, in this video, we're going to be looking at the trans mafia of Meghan Markle and focusing on Sir-ena Williams. Now, I'm sure, like many people, we were thinking, why is Meghan Markle such close friends with Serena Williams? Well, now we know they're both trannies and satanic, but not just trannies, satanic trannies are part of a satanic cult, in my opinion. And I wanted to just bring you to this video, which is on Rumble as well as BitChute. This is the BitChute version here. You can look it up, Sir-ena Williams, Anatomy of Deception by Truth. It got cut off, but it was truth.com or Truth, The Truth PhD, I think, on Rumble. And he's did an excellent video about this. It's about an hour long, and he did it 7 years ago. Okay, so this is like 2018, 2019, he posted this. And Serena Williams and Meghan Markle's tactics, not only that they're both trannies, but they're connected in their stories. Meghan connected her story, or her handlers connected her story with Serena Williams. And that Serena Williams allegedly is from Compton, California. And we all know how Meghan Markle and her Sussex Squad followers who believe in her reference an article they claim from the British media, but it was actually from US media claiming that, oh, the girl from Compton, even though we know Meghan never said anything about being from there. So it was like connecting her to Serena's story, because Serena Williams' story and what the tactics Serena Williams used with her sister or brother is the same that Meghan's using, in that they paraded out these trannies as women to play in women's sports and gaslight everybody to force them to accept obvious transgenders as women, when in reality, and anyone who criticized that and pointed out the fact, hey, that's a man, you were called a racist, bigot or whatnot. So that's exactly, of course, what Meghan did. If you didn't like Meghan, if you don't like Meghan, you're a racist, you're a bigot, right? So that's the story. So this is the young Serena. So this man here who did the very excellent job, it's over an hour long because he knew he was going to be accused of racism or whatever, or transphobia or whatnot. But so he was very thorough, with everything, step by step, dissecting the father, how he wasn't some wonderful coach. He was part of a Crips gang, and how they sacrificed Serena Williams' older sister. He believes it's suspected because, in the satanic cult, before you become rich and famous, somebody in your family is going to be sacrificed, right? It's a known thing, blood sacrifice. And I was trying to think, did anybody in Meghan's family get blood sacrifice before she married Harry? I don't recall anything. Maybe a dog or a cat or something. I don't think a human, but usually it's a person, I believe. So he was pointing out the fact that from a very young age, obviously they were little boys, so they were outperforming all the other girls. And then for some reason, inexplicable reason, the father took him out of the academy. Obviously, probably they needed surgeries and whatnot. And they knew from the very beginning, as these two little, quote, girls, they were going to take over and just win everything. And they knew that from the beginning, obviously, because they were two little boys. Yeah. Now, he doesn't go in, he goes a little bit into the, dissecting, but you can see quite clearly Serena Williams is a man. I mean, just look at the pictures. But the whole scenario of why this is going on is the Satanists have for decades now been fooling people. I mean, Serena Williams is a really outrageous example, but there's a lot of trannies in the media, TV shows, movies, that you don't, unless you know anatomy of men and women and the skeletons and whatnot, because of all their advanced surgeries and hormones, it's very easy to fool people, and they have been fooling people. So as far as being part of a large satanic agenda, what they've done for decades now is they've been fooling people and gaslighting them into thinking these women, including models, including Victoria's Secret models, they're fooling people because they want men to lust after what they think are women. And they want women to feel insecure with themselves when they see these, muscular, small, hipped women, and think that, why can't I be thin like that? So it gives young women a complex that they're fat and ugly, and it gives men against the energies of men lusting after a male when they don't realize it's a man, it's actually a woman. So this is a very good section of the video here where he goes into that. And by the way, I'm into drawing and I've gotten books on anatomy. And recently, another thing that these Satanists are doing is they're trying to say that the female and male skeleton are the same. And they even, I believe there's a scientist or an archaeologist who was fired or canceled or something because he said the fact that everyone knows is that male and female skeletons are different, particularly the hips, right? Completely different. And markedly so, so that no matter how old the skeleton is, thousands of years old, you can tell whether it's male or female. Well, the next step or what's going on right now is the Satanists are trying to convince and gaslight people in the science that saying, oh no, the skeletons are the same of men and women. They're the same. This is what they're doing. And I've gotten some books recently to draw for drawing anatomy, and they actually do this. They don't differentiate between the male and female skeletons. They just put it all as one, including the muscles, everything. So it's a very evil agenda, and it's continuing, and it's spread throughout science. They're spreading it throughout science, kind of like with other things that they claim are safe and effective and all that. So this is very evil, and it's thorough, and it's they're trying to change the science. And it's, he points out here using these statues and whatnot, how ridiculous. So here's a statue of David, famous statue there. And he changes the proportions to be more like a female skeleton to show you, well, this is, a female skeleton. It's very different. I mean, and the reason that he explains the hip bones and why the women's, hips look so different with the bone structures and whatnot. So that's an excellent part. Then he goes into now another thorough thing this man did. I mean, look at this thing. Look at this tranny. Look at that. When you have a real woman, see, that's the thing that really shows it up when you have a real woman next to them. It's unmistakable. When they're photographed alone or you're only seeing them from the shoulders up, it can be difficult. But when you actually see them full body next to a real woman, I mean, it's so obvious. And they've been gaslighting people for decades with this, and it continues. And I mean, it's obviously satanic. I mean, look, Serena Williams is now the poster girl for Ozempic, which shows you how evil that this whole thing is. Well, it all started, they believe it started, the first tranny tennis player was a conservative man who decided to transition, and they pushed him to be like the Caitlyn Jenner of the times. I think it was the late 70s, early 80s. And he was in his 40s, and they let him play. They pushed for him to play with the women's sports. But he was against women playing against men in sports because he said, I was 40 years old after I transitioned. I wasn't a threat to 20-year-old girls. They could beat my butt, at that age. But he's against the idea of like a 20-year-old, tranny playing against a 20-year-old woman because obviously they got the advantages, the bone structure, the muscle, etc. So he was against it. So I think that's and he put it here. How his opinion here. Dr. Richards was I believe an eye doctor, surprisingly conservative. She calls a 2004 decision of the International Olympic Committee, which allows transsexuals to compete, a particularly stupid decision, explaining that when she sued to play at the U.S. Open, she was 40 and wasn't going to overwhelm Chris Evert or Tracy Austin, who are 20 years old. Yeah, so that's why I think he was dropped. She was dropped. And then they show here that the WTA allows transgenders to play. So the Tennis Association here, World Tennis Association, and they allow it. They say if you identify as a woman and you've been on hormones at least, 4 years, you're allowed. So it's not breaking any rules that Sir-ena played, but he has lied and claimed to be a woman. And they actually banned a Russian tennis boss for calling Venus and Serena the Williams brothers. Even though it's obvious, if you have a pure pair of eyes, they are huge. They are men. It's just ridiculous. And Serena Williams, like Meghan Markle, also faked her pregnancies. Used the belly bump. He goes through a whole thing with the belly bump. By the way, he also goes through Meghan Markle's fake belly bumps and good, clips there. I'm sure, you're familiar with them all, but he puts them together in a good way. So they have all this stuff in common. They're trannies, they're faking pregnancies. I think that the husband wife of Sir-ena is F to M, in my opinion. Surprised he didn't get pregnant. Okay, so here's an example. I mean, he went all out with this. He's showing Sir-ena allegedly to, third trimester, like playing tennis, like nothing's going on. Like it was so obvious Sir-ena was faking the pregnancy. I mean, she's running around the court hitting the ball, allegedly like the third trimester or second trimester, like ridiculous. And then immediately comes back and, he in these outfits that first she's wearing outfits with the tutus on them to try to balance the shoulders to the hips. But I mean, it's so obvious. No, women, no, no, I mean, and they're trying to gaslight us with this, and it's all very satanic. I seem to have skipped the part. I don't know if I missed it of where her older sister, was sacrificed just before this rise to fame that she got. And now there's one scene here is interesting where Sir-ena is harassing everyone, harassing the referee. She got a point or something, and you see her go on and on and on, really nasty, really venomous. And I thought, wow, she's just like Meghan. This must be exactly how Meghan Markle is behind the scenes. Like we don't hear Meghan Markle attacking her staff, although we know she does and has. She's well known to be a bully. But here they actually have it on recording. Serena Williams bullying the people around, and she got in trouble for it because she threatened to kill one of the young women there that was working with the referees. So you could hear her going on and on. It was so evil. She made a big spectacle of herself. And this must be exactly how Meghan Markle is all I can think. I mean, it's like she's just there to cause chaos. She's losing the game and she can't stand it. She lost to a Japanese player, and she was having Serena was having a full on tantrum there. Yeah. So you can see here, this is the very ending of it. Yeah, she has had major feminization plastic surgery over the years. WTA, IOC do not gender test their athletes, allow them to play, the transgenders to play. She has not one, two, but all physical characteristics of a male. She's a liar. She wants to be a great liar. Yeah, just like Meghan Markle. Yeah. And so, he's pointing out here just what a great deception all this is from the Satanists. Yeah, they're trying to make her father look like he was the greatest, but whereas he was part of gangs and as it appears, and he didn't sound like he was some great coach. He was just like, because he watched the video. And then he had to emphasize, this isn't about intolerance, not about sexism or racism or transphobia. This is about exposing the colossal lie and fraud of the whole situation. Yeah. And, this pertains to Meghan Markle as well. And they're all in it together. And again, it's a bunch of satanic trannies, in my opinion. And I will just leave off with this last part. This is the part where they talked about the older sister being sacrificed here.
With those willing to exchange their immortal souls for worldly desires.
And when I think about that, there are times, I wonder what would I do. And I know